evening and welcome to another McMuscles Midnight Massacre. And today we have kind of like we just sort of found out about this movie.
Late entry.
Very late entry, just sliding under the door.
Slid into our DMs.
And no one's more persuasive when they slide into your DMs than Satan. This is Satan Slays, which is an Indonesian horror movie from, you said?
2017.
2017. We found it on Shudder?
On Shudder, our streaming service of all things horror.
Yeah.
It just popped up.
Did you read if is it actually exclusive to Shudder?
I don't know. It says it's a Shudder exclusive. It had the original and the dubbed version on there.
Yeah,
we
which
watched
is weird.
The original. Yeah, it had like separately. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I seen it and then I was like, okay, what's this? You read it. They don't have trailers, unfortunately. I watched the trailer and I was like, okay.
Yeah, you watch the trailer somewhere else because on Shudder
on YouTube.
They don't have trailers.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
It's strange.
It's very weird. It's the same thing on Prime. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe you might like it. And
I didn't watch the trailer.
Give it a go.
I didn't watch the trailer. You did, and you were like, "No, look pretty good, pretty good." I'm like, "Okay." For us having almost like absolutely knowing nothing
about it.
It follows the tale of like
the family.
A family that's kind of down on their luck. It's a large family with many confusing family members because they don't say right off the bat like you are a brother, you are a sister, and you just have to kind of piece it together. Fortunately, we're able to do it by the end, but it has
now I know all their names.
Rini.
It has Rini,
who is the eldest daughter. There is a father.
There's a father.
Forget his name.
I don't think they even say it.
Yeah. And there is a mom who used to be a famous singer and she's
set in the 80s.
Yeah, set in the 80s. She's a famous singer who's like sick,
bedridden, ill.
Did they ever say what she's sick with?
No. Or maybe they did. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't remember either. Then there's three brothers. There's.
Let's see if you can do it.
There's Tony, Bondi, and Ian.
Nice. Because they say their names enough throughout it that you're like, okay. And there's also a grandma that lives in the house.
Yeah, a grandmother. Yeah, at first I wasn't sure because you'd think the grandmother would be the creepy person that's dying, but no, it's just the mom.
And at first you don't know if like the youngest kid is Rini's kid, if that's her dad or her husband, because they look very close in age, and it's confusing at first, but no, they are four siblings.
Yeah, and
a dad, sick mom, and grandma that live in this house.
I'd say midway through, you're like, okay, I know who everyone is, just because the movie doesn't like tell you straight up. You just have to follow it along. And also, very early on in the movie, gets pretty creepy pretty quick. Asian horror movies in general have kind of like figured out that like old people are creepy.
Yeah, they know it.
they know and they use it pretty well.
They use that power well. But from us, like, kind of shitting on The Nun, jump scare wise.
Yeah.
That we're like, overused, not scary, not cute, whatever. But this one, like, I just remember, like, getting scared and turning to you going, like, that was scary. I'm like, that scared me. And I was like...
We were watching this very bad, and you were just like,
I'm like, did you see that? That was horrifying!
And I did. And this woman that's dying in the bed, she does a lot of creepy facial expressions.
Faces.
She's seen things that other characters aren't seeing. She's pointing at stuff. The first gimmick the movie uses, and it uses it well, is this woman has a bell. She can barely talk.
Yeah.
So she has a bell when she rings whenever she wants something. And even when she's departed, because she dies very, very early on in the movie, it's what sets off the whole thing, really. People still hear the bell. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's that, mwah!
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good scare right off the bat. But what's the scare you want to talk about that kind of...
Well, the first one that, like, I knew, I'm like, this is a dream sequence.
Yes.
And then they did it very well when you see something as a dream sequence, and then the character wakes up, and then the same thing is happening. Like
they go and they do the exact same
thing that they just saw in their dream, and like how they did it was actually very well done.
There's a lot of good camera work in here, and I felt that's kind of the difference between this and The Nun, and also The Nun was so dark that it's kind of being a little bit cheaper, where it's like, oh, it's just dark and scary. This is taking place almost all the time in
this big house.
In this big house, it's always well lit. It's not very dark. And they have a lot of camera movements where they pan to, like, even if you think a ghost or like a spook is gonna be there, and it is, it still was like, I was like, oh shit.
Every time. It got my ass every time. It was like, yeah, and they're next to a cemetery also. There are a lot of scenes in that cemetery because a lot of people die.
Yeah.
And they're always like burying another one.
The mom kind of dying sets off some type of...
I don't know what to say with spoilers or not. I'm always like stumbling. I'm like...
It's fine. The mom dying kind of sets off like, let's just, like a curse or something. There's a lot of backstory to this family and why this family has like become so big. Like there's 4 kids in a very short period of time. And they're also down on their luck because this woman was a famous singer, like I said, but they can't get any residuals.
Yeah, the
from
first scene is her at the bank being like, her records are in stores.
Money, please.
Give me the money. They're like, there's nothing left. And you're like, oh, okay.
And that's basically kind of it. They just live in this house, and it gets progressively more and more haunted, and each scene gets pretty scary here and there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a longer-ish movie, but they paced it out really well with things at the start, then scares, then they dole out like information like every so often. There's a neighbor that's trying to help them, who's like, yeah, it's rough, your family and your mom dying. And they start to think that maybe the mom might have struck a deal with someone to get the family that she wanted because she wasn't able to give birth before. And now she has 4 kids. What's up with that?
How did it happen?
If only our friend Satan could listen to us.
Who's your favorite kid? My favorite kid was Tony. Because he was the really nice one. Like, I felt like he was the good middle brother. He was always trying to, like, he sold his motorbike because his family had no money. He brushed his mom's hair.
I liked Tony. He was a good kid. I disliked Bondi the most.
Bondi's annoying.
Bondi's the second eldest, and he gets kind of like a subplot where he gets lightly possessed, just a little dusty. It's
gotta be a little sprinkle.
It's a little sprinkle of possession. It's probably one of the
But then he gets over it. He's like, yeah, I'm over it. He's like, that was so last Thursday.
It was like a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I just, I took some vitamin C in it.
Wasn't for me.
It's one of the little side plots that kind of doesn't really
fizzles out.
Go anywhere. And the littlest kid, Ian, was actually quite cute. He's deaf and so he uses sign language here and there, but he's actually kind of cute. He did the thing that I always used to do, where when you see something scary, just go under the covers, just don't look.
Cover his eyes.
Things can't find you and haunt you if you're not looking. But yeah, it just kind of progresses there, and they have kind of not a big story dump. Like unlike The Nun, they didn't just go bam, here it all is. Yeah. They pace it pretty well. Piece. And even when the movie's over, we talked about this in another review where it's like, oh, we beat the scares, all the scares are gone, and then that's the end of that chapter. Yeah. And they're like, oh, wait, no, there's more for us to do. At that second stage of them getting more scares, I didn't feel that kind of climax was all that scary. It was there was a lot of just them holding on to things in the house and just running to and fro.
It was doing a lot.
It was doing a lot. So it was a little confusing. It wasn't as effective as the scares before.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like the climax of scares. You're just kind of like, okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But it wasn't the best part.
And we found out some other stuff about this. This is actually...
Just looked it up. Yeah. It's actually a prequel / remake of the original of this, which
also came out in Indonesia.
Came out in the 80s in Indonesia. Yeah. And
so it's pretty funny that
guy who made this was obsessed with the original and was just like,
I'm going to remake this one.
Yeah, and I think it leads it up because the final scene during the credits is something that was just so confusing and out of place and made no sense. Mm-hmm. But now if you're telling me maybe those 2 characters are part of the next movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That maybe. There's an awkward dancing thing. If you watch to the end, you'll be like, but what?
What's going on? Yeah, there's 2 characters that just seem like they're going to be important, and they just kind of dance over the credits. And we're like, that's weird. It just seems like he has 2 dancing friends, and they're like, please put us in your movie.
Yeah.
We'll show everyone our sick fucking skills.
Our sick moves.
And this also turned out to be one of the most successful Indonesian movies of all time. I read. I'm like,
good
wow, okay.
They did a good job.
It's tough to be a really successful movie when it's just straight up called Satan's Slaves.
I keep thinking it's Satan's helpers, like Satan's little helper.
I thought
like
it was
helper.
Satan's Stages or something.
And I'm stupid.
It sounds like a metal album, but it was quite good. Like we said, it's on Shudder right now. I'm not sure if it's available.
I have no idea if you can find it anywhere else.
But I would definitely recommend it. I haven't seen like a brand new Asian horror movie from like part of the globe in like a long time.
Yeah.
Like a brand new one that was really good. I never hear about them as much anymore. I'm sure they're there, but yeah, I definitely recommend it.
I would too.
So that is Santa's Slaves.
Santa's Slaves.
Yeah, do check it out, and we will see you again tomorrow night back on the Massacre.
No.